Popcorn, Evil Popcorn Podcast, After Dark. Hello, Dorian, how are you?
Good.
Good. What are we talking about today, Dorian?
Child's Play!
That's right. The socks. The shirt. Yes, I want to get off the gateway tier too.
Yeah.
Yes, we've seen these movies. The children have seen these movies, well, they should have by now. But yes, I'm not mad at this one because this one is my absolutely favourite out of the iconic slashers. Yeah. Where would you rate it?
Oh,
Chucky, that is.
Yeah. Because that's Child's Play came out in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of like when these iconic slasher characters came out, he is pretty late in the game.
Yeah, yes.
Because they were like
Freddy was well into it. Well into his kill count by this stage, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you think though? What do you reckon? Do you like him? Are you?
I love him.
You do love him?
I love him.
Are you the Freddy Chucky camp of the witty one-liner, the banter killers, or the silent shapes of evil that never stop?
I think it depends on the tone of the movie. Like if the tone of the movie overall is something that has that kind of like, think Michael Myers kind of thing, then that works. But if the overall movie is a little bit more fun, I guess, then it's fun having a character like that.
Yeah.
But it has both Chucky and Freddy have evolved over the course of their franchise. What they look like now is very different to how they first started.
Freddy, that's a whole kettle of fish. But we'll get to that when we get to the last movie on the Gateway Tour, which shall be A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah? Yeah, cool. Chucky, though. Chucky, we're mentioning things like evolved and change of tone and that sort of thing, because this franchise changes tone wildly. Wildly. But we'll get to that. When did you first watch Chucky? What's your history with Chucky? With Child's Play, I should say.
I can't remember when I first watched it.
It's 1988 it came out,
I can't remember when it was that I first watched it. Like, I wasn't like a child
or
anything. I was an adult when I watched it.
Interesting.
But something that I found, so up until that point, all that I knew about Chucky was that it was a possessed doll. And normally when you think of possessed dolls, you think of something like Annabelle, for instance.
Sure.
Possessed by a demon, that kind of stuff. Whatever. But while yes, Chucky is a possessed doll, it's not in the same way.
Not in the same way,
at all.
Because Chucky is also was a human serial killer who put himself
through the power of voodoo,
a doll.
Transferred his soul into this doll.
A good guy doll,
Yes.
to be specific. Yes, which is interesting.
Like the movie starts with like a police shootout.
Yeah, it does.
Chasing him down, shooting at him, and he breaks into this toy store to try to hide out. He's not being quiet about it at all.
No.
So he breaks in, the alarm goes off, the cop chasing him obviously knows where he's gone. And then he's in there and just rampaging through the place, knocking stuff over, and yet somehow this cop still can't manage to find him.
Yeah, sure.
But,
it's an 80s
fine,
horror movie. The suspension of disbelief is an absolute given. I was barely just out of childhood when I saw this, 11, 12 years old. I think before all intents and purposes. I was 11 when I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street. That was the first one. Far too young. It's far too young, and then 12 with Chucky, and then that was set. I was away, because I think I told you about the one with the shadow of Freddy's hat, and with Chucky, with the Wanna Play. I was in a home with lots of other kids at that stage, and walking around to everyone's room and knocking on the door at night, going, Wanna Play, freaking them the fuck out.
Excellent.
And, 30 years later, scare actor.
You get paid to do that.
So I definitely fell in love straight away to begin with. So watching this film, rewatching this film, coming back to it because it's been a few decades since the initial rewatch. Chucky is funny, Chucky is witty, and he is played by Brad Dourif, at the start of the film.
Yes.
He's playing Charles Lee Ray, who puts himself into Chucky through the power of Damballa. I beg of you.
Give me the power, I beg of you.
And this is Voodoo for Dummies,
literally.
Later on in the franchise. This is, don't look into this like on a research scholarly level, I'm sure it's not correct, but that doesn't matter. Don Mancini, he has written this from the beginning. He wasn't directing at this stage yet, though. It was Tom Holland. You had, he's known for a few other horror films.
So he has done, so on Letterboxd, he is credited as being a director of 12 films. I've seen 4 of them, so I don't know anything about the other ones.
Just the horror ones.
But I don't know which ones are horror and which ones aren't within all of those. But he did Child's Play. He also did the original Fright Night.
Iconic.
And then he did 2 Stephen King adaptations, which is Thinner and The Langoliers.
Have you seen either of those? I have. Yeah, how are they? Just standard Stephen King fan?
Yeah. Like, there's a reason why you probably haven't heard much buzz about them.
Yeah, sure.
The Langoliers is CGI, and that is buck wild. Oh my god, it looks so bad.
Okay.
And it's ridiculously long. I didn't realize how long the movie was until I'm like, this has been going on for a while. Oh my god, that's the runtime.
Okay. I'm glad Flanagan is kind of taking the Stephen King mantle for adaptations nowadays. Yeah, absolutely.
Love Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. I wanted to mention to yourself, which I did off camera, and to the children, speaking of sweethearts, Fiona Dourif. She played the flashback Charles Lee Ray in the Chucky series, which I had no idea.
Yeah, they did a little bit
of course she does, thinking about it.
Yeah, they did a bit of prosthetics on her face to make it a little bit more masculine. And then after that, she, basically just studied her dad's acting and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of changed the way body movement to be more masculine and all that kind of stuff. But like if you didn't know that it was her, and then she looks close enough to him.
She does. They've got a similar kind of energy and mannerisms, and that's.
I also just really love that she's from Curse of Chucky onwards. She's a character in that, and just I love the way this franchise just reuses actors.
Yes.
And even in the TV series, like Devon Sawa coming back every single season, different characters all the time. But they just reuse these actors, and it isn't as though you have the characters being like, "Hey, you look familiar." Or anything. It's just like, no, that's just this new character. Yeah,
absolutely, exactly. Jennifer Tilly kills it in Chucky, the series as well. For those that don't know, Once Upon a Time it was Child's Play, 1, 2, and 3. Yes, that's the Child's Play
I think
trilogy.
what it was that the distribution company or production company or something like that changed hands, and that was why the movies after that weren't called Child's Play anymore.
They became Chucky.
It was because of who owned the IP and all that kind of stuff.
And Don Mancini, he continued writing, and he started directing them as well after that. Or
I'm not entirely sure.
Or did he just take over more production rights? Yeah. Because I'll touch on the change of tone now. Don Mancini is queer. He is a gay gentleman. And there is a lot of queer representation in Chucky.
As the series progresses, more and more so.
Absolutely. And this is what he always kind of wanted to do with Chucky. There's a great interview with him on the Horror Queers podcast where they sit down and he basically discloses.
So he directed Seed of Chucky.
Okay.
And then Curse and Cult.
Seed makes perfect sense because this is where the queer,
and then he has some of the episodes of the TV series he has directed, but it's the case for a lot of TV series. You don't necessarily have the same director for every single episode. That's
an interchangeable.
Basically, this franchise is his baby.
Totally.
He was the writer. He came up with the original story, and he's been directly involved in this franchise from the get-go. So it's his. It belongs to him.
And then with the first movie as well, I think it changed hands. The writers changed hands a few times. I'm going to do a deep dive on this, children. We're going to cover the whole damn thing in the future. We're just touching on it now because we want to go further down the the iceberg, of course. But the point being, it is his baby now. He got the control over it and the creative control that he wanted as well. And so if you've seen the TV series where there's the big kiss, that is the kiss he always wanted as a gay young person, but could never have because society was more fucked up than it is now, believe it or not, and certainly in terms of that sort of thing. And so that's why that was his kiss that he'd always wanted on the TV show. If you've seen it, if you know, you know, So check out the Horror Queers podcast interview with them. Shout out Horror Queers, you're great. So I love Child's Play and I love Chucky. I love all of it, I wanted to say there, Okay. And Brad Dourif. Do you like Brad Dourif?
Yeah. He's fantastic.
Of all time. Exorcist 3.
That's literally what I was going to say. Like,
of course.
Overall, the movie, okay, sure. But his performance, holy shit, those monologues. Oh my god, he's incredible. He's recently said that he's officially retired from acting, with the exception
of
Chucky. So
Don Mancini said on Dead Streams, if I don't get to direct anything else besides Chucky, I'm good. He wanted to do other things, but if it's just Chucky, I'm good.
Like he clearly loves it. He clearly loves it as well, seeing as he's continuing with it.
Fiona loves it. Jennifer's just raptured.
Oh my god. She's incredible. She loves it. I think she's its biggest fan.
I would say so. You've seen her on Instagram. She's at airports with a little mini Chucky on a bicycle.
She's amazing. Oh my god. And also in the TV series in season 2, they had her sister Meg in it as well, and and then you had my god,
I'm thinking of Jiggy from Bound. Gina Gershon.
Because obviously because it's Jennifer Tilly, all these references to Bound is happening in
it's so meta, it's marvelous. And then when they and then from Seed we get to see Glenn and Glenda. And then Gigi, as you know.
And then also that actor who plays the both of them, they are, as far as I know, they're non-binary. I don't know if since the last time I found out about them, because they were on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And I only watched the first 2 seasons of that, but in the second season, their character had this whole fantastic gender storyline. They were trans, and from that was how I found out that that actor actually is non-binary. But I don't know if that is still the case. If things have changed, who knows? But anyway, regardless.
The representation is very cool.
Fantastic.
And there's a moment.
It was still even a thing when Seed came out, in that you have that character saying hey, sometimes I feel like I'm a boy, sometimes I feel like I'm a girl. Why do I have to decide? Can't I just be me?
This is the doll character as well, absolutely. And you've got John Waters in there as well.
His death is so cool.
King of Queer and Filth. Queer.
His death is so cool.
I love that.
His character
Some
in that.
Some people hate Seed. I'm going, you're fucking crazy.
It's so ridiculous and camp and just love it.
There is a moment in the Chucky series which sums it all up, where he meets, I forget the initial kid who's the artist with the dolls, the start of season 1, I forget that character's name, thank you. Chucky starts talking and then Chucky goes, my son's queer. Jake's like, you haven't got a problem with that? I'm not a monster. Yes. Chucky.
Sure, I murder people, but I'm accepting of queer identities. But then in the finale of that, when Jake is going to kill him, he drops the F-bomb and calls him a faggot.
Chucky's still a monster.
He is.
Chucky is still an absolute killer. But that was more a Don Mancini moment than a Chucky moment. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned before I got stressed out about power chords and stuff, is this the, in terms of, since the 80s anyway, this has the longest legacy, doesn't it, for a slasher film?
As far as
out of the iconic big ones,
As far as it would be.
So, and it's the ones you've been watching the longest, or you've seen the most?
The longest. The longest, because you have there's 7 movies, The first one in 88. The most recent one being Cult. I, off the top of my head, don't know exactly when that one came out. And then you have the TV series. So basically from 1988 to now, it's still ongoing, and it's still Don Mancini.
Yes.
And
which is very cool. He's been able to maintain.
I think because those movies have changed and evolved in the way that they have, it means that it always feels fresh, and the TV series still feels consistent to, like, because while the first three movies are tonally very, very different, because as the series overall progresses, like, so Cult of Chucky, for instance, integrates stuff from, like, Seed and Bride. It also has some stuff, you know, like Andy's back, from who's the main person in, you know, Child's Play, and then in the TV series that continues. So all those little, so Child's Play, then Bride and Seed, and then Cult and Curse and Cult, all of those individual little storylines and characters unique to those all come into play, and it's still continuing on. So it is one continual universe.
The consistency is pretty good. It's not airtight perfection, no. But I think you have a point, because Don Mancini has been involved in whatever capacity.
And they've involved as many, especially since Bride, because Bride was when he was able to sort of like really properly stretch his creative wings, so to speak. All of the, as much of the cast and crew especially, has been consistently the same people.
Behind the scenes, like crew. Okay, that's cool.
And then people working the actual, like, Chucky animatronic and puppeteering and all that kind of stuff has been consistently the same people, as much as they can throughout it all.
That's okay, now, have you seen? Okay, you've seen all of it.
Yes.
All right. So I will throw out the two that I don't like.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't like 3. It's not awful, but compared to 1 and 2 of the Child's Play.
That's trilogy, the military school one.
Yes. I thought that was definitely the weakest.
Definitely.
Link, however you want to put it. Yeah. What did you think of the remake with Chucky as an AI with Luke Hamill voicing Chucky? I think Luke Hamill's a great voice actor. But what did you think of the movie? I
don't consider it part of the franchise. It literally was just, hey, we actually still own the IP for, like, the original series, or at the very least for the first film. Why not do our own thing with it? Which is, they actually had to be really, really careful with the kills that they did in that movie, because if they made it too visually similar to other stuff throughout the actual franchise, it could be considered like, hey, you're copying stuff that isn't part of that IP.
Is that why he was an AI and not a voodoo-possessed doll?
Possibly, yeah. And then also, let's be real, Charles Lee Ray version of Chucky versus that version of Chucky, Charles Lee Ray fucking demolish him instantly. If my feelings on that movie is, if you didn't have the fact that, like, no, this series is Don Mancini's thing, and, you know, all that kind of stuff, and just, if the original series didn't exist, if we lived in that timeline, and that movie...
Truly frightening.
Right? Oh my god.
The darkest timeline.
No, the ripple-on effect, the butterfly effect of that, incomprehensible. But if that movie came out and there wasn't, like, this other stuff going on with it, I would have liked it a lot more.
Sure, that is fair, and you're probably correct, because there's too much association going on, absolutely. And Nightmare on Elm Street suffered the same thing with the remake, I think, as well, because that actor, going back, technically did a cool job. And I think part of the issue with that as well was that the way they made him look, while yes, he looked more accurate to someone who had suffered that degree of burns. But we're not here for the realism in a Freddy movie.
Exactly. Like, while yes, it's more realistic, but it just doesn't have the same impact.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Because Freddy and Chucky are my two favorites. I prefer the witty serial killer. You know, fantastical, beastie, whatever. Definitely. When I first saw the remake, I didn't mind it too much, but then I learned more about Mancini and how important this all was, and then watched everything else before I went back to it and went, nah. Like your Audrey Plaza, fair enough, but nah. Because they did They do the falling out of the window onto
Yeah.
the car scene, don't
Yeah.
they? But it's different enough to have not been.
Well, no,
called up on.
they can for that original movie, because the people who made that remake or whatever it is you want to call it, they owned the IP for at the very least that first movie.
Oh, the first movie.
Yeah.
Understand.
Anything beyond that?
Anything beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of that kill in that first movie?
Oh yeah, like fantastic. But also like, you're trying to tell me that she fell.
It's wild, isn't it? It's wild.
Like,
'Cause this is to the first kill of the movie.
So she's gotten hit on the head, is stumbling backwards, and then she's fallen out the window. And then the story that everyone's, oh, you know, she tripped and she
This
fell out the
Aunt
window,
Maggie,
kind of thing, you know. So, but when you see her actually coming out the window, she is ejected with some force, and so therefore her trajectory isn't just, oh, you're falling out of a window and like here's the window falling out down, like straight down. No, it's with some force outwards and then down. She
And to put into a clear context as well, this is the first kill of Child's Play. We haven't seen Chucky's face in action, you know.
it's just the blank doll.
Yeah, and Maggie has turned around and she's got the because she's seen Chucky in action, and then Chucky with a good guy hammer, which is, you know...
because Andy got a little good guy tool set.
Yeah, and she gets it in the eye. Okay, that would hurt.
Yeah.
It might even damage the eye forever. I could have believed that. But no, she's halfway in the kitchen. It's a good, say, like 3, 4,
stumbling
maybe 6 meters.
backwards.
And she, as you say, she is
smashed
thrown.
However many stories down
Exorcist
onto
style,
the car.
wire around her chest being pulled back
pretty much,
through the window. Kaboom.
Onto a car.
I mean, it looked great.
Yeah.
But that does beg the question. D. Snyder, how dare you? Yes. Because he said, Chucky's stupid. You could just kick it. I got that from Barbara Crampton on Dead Streets.
The point
That is the whole argument. That is the detractors of Chucky saying this.
The point is, in that if you've watched any of this stuff, you would know that while yes, that is true, he's able to get the jump on people, and they are caught off guard because he's a doll. They're not expecting to see that, and he takes advantage of that. And he's like, so yeah, if you know, oh yeah, this is this possessed doll that I can literally just punt across the room, like yeah, sure, but also like
it's not going to kill him. He's going to still come back. Yeah.
You're going to be constantly.
Hold on. Yes, what I noticed about the first one as well, rewatching, is Chucky's a very intentional killer. He will set up traps for you to slip in, fall over, that sort of thing. Yeah, because this guy is a serial killer as well. I think he got away with murder full stop. He has not technically been caught yet. Since the 60s he goes back to, doesn't he, in Hackensack? Yeah, so... And
the series goes into his backstory in a really fun way.
So he's very intentional, he's very calculated, and yes, you may kick him, but it's not going to stop him because fire does not kick him. Bullets do not kick him.
Like the finale of the original movie is them trying to kill him, and it goes on and on. And there's so many instances where they think that it's finally over, he's finally dead. Nah, bitch, you thought he's back, he's not dead yet.
And he's filled with rage the whole time. Like serial killer, murderous, adrenaline-based rage as well. I've never found it a problem. I've never sat there, you could just kick him. You know, you could just throw him through a window or that sort of thing. I think it's been justified that Chucky can pull this off. Yeah, absolutely. So D. Snyder, how dare you. Cool work with the 80s satanic panic thing, but leave Chucky. So what's your favourite Chucky kill?
Ooh.
It could be anything. Overall, Child's Play or Chucky.
Oh fuck, I don't know. Because there's so many.
What about in this movie? Let's keep it to this movie. Actually, it's more sane. Mine's probably through the window at the start because it is so iconic. It's a bit, but we're suspending belief. This is what we're here for. We're not here for the realism.
He has a significantly higher kill count in later movies.
He does. Yes, he does.
Like this one is fairly restrained.
This is also suspenseful. That's what I really noticed going back. This is like Hitchcockian suspense build up.
Because it takes quite a while to actually.
I've got this written down. The first
him.
I think the first kill's like 45 minutes into an hour and a half movie.
Yeah. And it takes quite a while for him to actually like properly reveal himself to the viewer. And then also until that point, and even after it, to be honest, you have like these main characters who know what is up with Chucky and trying to say, it's this doll, he's alive, and he's the one that's killing all these people, and obviously no one's believing them, and like, no, you're crazy, and poor Andy, he's really going through it.
Yes.
It's like, no, it's my doll, Chucky did it, and no one believes him.
No.
He's been put into like a, psychiatric care.
Yes.
He's there saying, no, Chucky's gonna kill me, which is true, and this doctor, because as far as he knows, this child is just having some kind of overactive imagination
and he killed his aunt to begin with.
Yeah, when they because he's got the good guy's shoes.
Yes.
They have the same treads on.
Yeah. And Andy is fucking adorable.
Yeah, he is. Little Alex Vincent.
Cute. Yeah.
He's so cute.
Absolutely.
And then that's another example of them coming back with the same cast. When you have the character of Andy, however many movies later, it's still Alex
later.
It's still Alex Vincent playing him.
Yes.
You have the actress who played Kyle, his foster sister, in the second movie.
She was in Beverly Hills 90210 for those who know that as well.
Her character comes back at a later point. It's still the same actress.
Yeah. It shows, Don, I think, like named Mike Flanagan, because they have similar families to create universes based on the love of the product and of each other, it seems, as well, which is fantastic, which is what horror is about. That's why horror is awesome.
And I feel that also if you have like a recurring, and it isn't just like one person kind of thing, it isn't like, Rob Zombie constantly casting his wife in everything kind of vibe. Though he also does like to cast a lot of the same actors as well. But if you have a lot of people who are constantly willing to go back and work with this director, then that means it at the very least implies that director is good to work with. They aren't a menace.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some menaces out there, as we know. Yes, absolutely. Andy's breakfast is
oh my god, it's his birthday, but he's making his mother breakfast in bed. But like he's spilling everything everywhere. I was getting so stressed out. Even when he's taking the tray to the bedroom, spilling it all over the carpet. But like he's got this toast that's blackened to a crisp that he's put it looked like he was scooping a scoop of ice cream onto it. It was butter. But it was this chunk of butter on it. It looked like a scoop of ice cream. All this cereal, just filling that up, spilling that everywhere, putting all this milk in it, spilling that everywhere.
On the carpet, with the orange juice on the carpet.
And then 3 heaped spoons of sugar into this cereal. She handled it really well though.
She did.
How about I eat this later?
Oh my god, because he jumps on it. Wake up, mummy, wake up. And then opens the goddamn curtain. I'm not a morning person, I don't know about you. It's just like, you're still adorable. You're still adorable.
He is.
Score is
his little good guy pajamas.
Yeah, so cool.
And I'm like, he's wearing shoes in bed. What are you talking about? And then later on, he's like, oh, they're my PJ, sneakers, they're my pajama sneakers. I'm like, okay, they're not actual shoes then. That's all right.
I didn't write down who it was. Again, we'll go through a deep dive into this, but the score is excellent. I've actually sat and listened to that outside of watching the movie to study and such. It's a really nice piece. As I said, Chucky is a very intentional killer. So do you prefer Child's Play or Chucky, or are you both?
because Child's Play is tonally very, very different, I can't I don't feel that I can compare
They're two
them.
different entities.
Because they feel very, very different.
That's fair.
That said, I personally prefer the tone of the later franchise.
So do I.
Because I like that fun campiness.
Yeah,
because like the premise is ridiculous anyway.
Yeah.
So let's have fun with it. And the way in which they have fun with it all is so fantastic. But Child's Play is still good.
Yeah. Well,
it's still absolutely fantastic.
Especially this movie, I think, is actually really good. Yeah. But I'll go more to that when we get to the end. We've talked about the first kill, Hammer and Eyeball. Yeah. But finally they had listened to. A lot of this is Andy's distress of not being believed. It's like children, parents not believing their children.
And I mean, you can't really blame them.
No.
Because it is like, it's a child,
to speak
overactive imagination, and then also what it is claiming is ridiculous and absurd.
Yeah.
Until you actually see proof of it yourself, there's no reason for you to believe this child saying that. That said, it doesn't make it any less heartbreaking and frustrating to watch him so desperately try to get people to believe him.
And I would add to that, reality is not all that it seems, because this does go into voodoo as well, and the efficacy of voodoo as well. I guess I'm just not an atheist, I don't know about yourself, If a child is that terrified, I think there's something to it, And don't just lock them up into a goddamn asylum.
And then when they're having a freak out, be like, no, it's fine, let me just sedate you.
Yes, but this is a comment.
This 6-year-old child.
The 80s as well, The light was like that. Fuck them. If I listen to Andy, I've talked about the first kiss. Yes, Don Mancini and the Chucky show. Do you remember the line when Andy is talking to the psychologist and Chucky said Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved? It's like, whoa!
He's just repeating verbatim.
It's verbatim.
But it's always really funny though when kids swear. It's always so funny.
And it was so goddamn adorable before then. You know what I mean? I noticed that there when Chucky is, because Andy hasn't seen Chucky. Well, we haven't seen.
The
Chucky
audience haven't.
Animated.
We've only seen him. We've only at that point. It isn't until the reveal.
Yes, the battery's not included.
Oh my god, I fucking love that scene. But it isn't until then that we actually see Charles Lee Ray. Before then, it was him pretending to be a good guy doll.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we do
Andy
see
has
his point
seen
of view.
When
he goes up to kill Eddie, who was his getaway driver in the first initial chasing. Yes. Did you spot the Evil Dead cam? Running up to running up to Evil Dead, running up to Eddie's house. I thought that was quite cool because I reckon that was intentional.
Absolutely.
Exactly what it was. Chucky's Foley footsteps are great. We hear the footsteps before we see him running, which was great. Chucky blow up Eddie to mirror the toy shop at the start with the gas. I thought that was a nice cinematic touch there. And then we get up to batteries not included. Okay, do you want to? One minute. This is 43 minutes in. And only 2 deaths so far.
And it is iconic. So like, you could, upon first watching it, be like, okay, he's gotten this doll and it's instantly working. Like, if you remember getting toys for birthday or Christmas, or you've had to, deal with that with children, whether it be family members or your own or whatever. That's a real pain in the ass. Be like, here's this fun toy. I can't play with it yet because batteries are not included. But then they get this doll and it's working instantly. And you might be like, oh, sure, okay. No, there's a reason. And it's because it's possessed. So the mother has picked up the doll. No, she's picked up the empty box that the doll came in. As she's going to throw it away, the batteries fall out because its batteries included. The batteries are falling out and it's still wrapped up in its packaging. And she realizes, we never put the batteries in this thing. I have seen it move around and all that kind of stuff in the way that it's supposed to. So she goes and gets it, opens up the back, there's no batteries in it. Batteries were never put in this doll, and it is a doll that is supposed to move about and talk and all that kind of stuff when you put the batteries in, not before. So the batteries were never put in this doll. So that in and of itself, fantastic moment. But then she's there just like, obviously thinking, there must be something to what Andy is saying. And then she just is there like, lit up the fireplace and is there, talk to me, goddammit.
Hold on, there's a beat before that, which I think is cool. She picks Chucky up tentatively. Chucky's face is looking down at the ground.
Oh yeah, that's
Then it spins around and goes, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" A little bit of menace comes in. She drops it and he rolls under the couch. Carry on.
But then ultimately she set the fire up and she's there, holding it up and saying like, talk to me, or I'm gonna throw you in the fire. And then his face changes. It isn't that like innocent, static face.
Warps, distorts, ugly, violent.
And then he's just there screaming.
It's cursing. Fuck
you stupid bitch, you ugly slut, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And he's thrashing at her and all that. And he bites her. And it's a gnarly bite. She shows the bite that she got later
Teeth
on.
Marks.
It's a gnarly bite. And just. So
it's
fantastic.
Great. One of the best reveals in horror. Can we say that? Absolutely. And then, these are human teeth marks as well. You go, what is happening? What is happening? That's not a doll's bite. Okay, and this also happens to the cop. The cop takes a while to believe. The head detective, I forget his name.
Because he's been called, has gotten involved from when Aunt Maggie fell out the window. So that's why he's involved.
Yes, he is involved. She goes to the bad part of town, Skid Row, because she needs to find out what is happening, because she now believes, of course. And she bought the doll off this tramp, if you will, old terminology, homeless person in Chicago, where this film is all set and shot, by the way. And this tramp looks a little bit like the guy from Ghost. If you remember him. Meets the Hellraiser 3 tramp. It's kind of a combination of those two guys. And she's about to be raped.
She's trying to get information.
Really
she's trying to get information from him about where he got the doll. And he's like, "Oh, well, what are you going to give me in return?" She's like, "Oh, I don't have much, but you can have all that." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's not enough."
Was in that film.
Same.
It was quite cool. Thankfully, Detective comes along before anything graphic is shown. We'll see.
And he just waves his gun around, and then they all scatter.
But the wife is still adamant that he needs to help her because she now believes, but he still does not believe. He feels for her though.
Because she said enough stuff that made him go like, because earlier he had said, because she was like, "Why are you so doggedly like pursuing this? Like he's just a little boy kind of thing. Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's because I don't like loose ends." And then later on during this scene here, she's there saying like, "You said you don't like loose ends. This is a loose end. You need to follow through with it." And so she's able to provide enough information to him that it gets stuck in his head. So he goes and looks up, because he was the cop that was chasing down Charles Lee Ray.
Yes.
At the beginning.
And she pulls his heartstrings as well, because this is a nice guy. This guy is a nice guy. He's very professional, very dogmatic in his approach to being a detective, but he is a nice guy. She does move him and spark his detective brain as well. So he goes and pulls Charles Lee Ray's file. Real Easter egg. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure. He walks out of the precinct. Did you spot the... once upon a time, you used to buy a newspaper, you put a coin into a box and came out in a slot, Did you spot the colour of those?
No.
They're the same colour. They're the good guy colours.
Oh, cool.
They're good guy doll colours, the yellow and the red, There's just
cool.
2 or 3 of them, nice work, Tom Holland. Newspaper... Yes, okay. Now, does he get into the car first before Chucky goes to see? Anyway, the Dumbala artwork and sculpture in Charles Lee Ray apartment is really cool.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. It's really creepy. It's really dark, but very voodoo.
Yeah.
Very cool. What do we think of the animatronics of Chucky at this stage? I'm going to go into a full detail because there's a whole story about how this came to be. Yeah. But that's for another episode.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Like,
does you reckon it improves as it goes on?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's even
it
from
really,
1 to 2,
really does.
there's
Yeah.
a one jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stuff that they did for it, and even the stuff they do now for the TV series and all that, is obviously a lot more because better technology and all that. But
especially as an old dude.
Yeah.
As a senior citizen.
Yeah. Oh my god. Trying to explain that to people. Like about like the premise of season 3, they're like, what the fuck?
You just have to be there from the start.
Yeah. But like I liked how the animatronic looked. I mean, you got to take into account that this is the first movie in the franchise and it's the late 80s, so you can't expect it to be this like super amazing, realistic looking thing.
Yeah, but
so it's fine. It works.
Scary as
I think
fuck
it
when
works.
it came out, and I still think it works as well.
Yeah.
And I'm a mark for killer doll movies.
Yeah,
The movie Dolls.
Yeah,
one of my
yeah.
favorites.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorites. First person transference rule. What the fuck does that mean, Gene? I don't know.
Probably.
Huh?
Probably about playing Hide the Soul.
Yeah. Of course, because this is from the voodoo priest. I forget his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
And he tells them like you get out of the doll. You're the first person you
This
ever.
happens after.
After jumping
the car.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. The car scene.
Yeah.
The detective believes, because Chucky tries to kill.
He's in the
fuck
back
out of
seat of the car. Which also, I just had this moment. Have you seen Urban Legend?
Not for a while.
Okay,
Which one?
so
The first
one, right?
Yeah.
Brad Dourif has a little moment in it.
Yes, he does. That's right. Yes.
He's the gas station attendant, and he's there saying, try to warn her, and she's getting freaked out because he's being a little bit sus, and she, a woman alone at night on the empty stretch of highway, and she's getting freaked out and is ignoring him, and as she's driving away, he calls out to her, "There's someone in your back seat," and that's Brad Dourif. I just had that moment because Chucky literally does that in this movie. Yeah. He's the one in the back seat.
Wow, that's cool. That's fucking lore mythos. Yeah.
Robert Englund's in that movie as well.
Yeah,
he's a professor.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Urban Legend. I like Urban Legend. The Faculty is the one out of those 80s, 90s movies that I need to rewatch again because I really like that one.
So
I think that bet the others of Urban Legends and Final Destinations.
Yeah.
I thought that was
it's
the
a fantastic. It's very Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Kind of.
Robert Rodriguez, correct?
I think so.
It is him. Yeah, I wish he'd continued.
Very young Elijah Wood. Josh Hartnett. Claire Duvall.
Elijah Wood's one of my heroes, though. Now that he's dedicated himself to horror after Lord of the Rings, he has his own horror company now.
He's so into horror.
He's so into horror. He's brilliant. And once he had done Lord of the Rings, tangent, and then he did Sin City, and that little fucking psycho, whatever the fuck that was with the nails and no eyes.
I need to see a horror movie that is a collaboration between Elijah Wood, Daniel Radcliffe, and Robert Pattinson.
Oh, that's a treat.
Where they're able to be as fucked up and weird as they
would
want.
all be down.
That would be incredible. I need that in my life.
Because they're all the breakaway movies.
They're all a bunch of fucking weirdos.
That's fucking great. So the detective does not die, but he certainly believes. He certainly.
And he ends up shooting Chucky. A fair bit.
Okay, thank you.
And that's
the link
why.
Back
Yes.
to Chucky finds the voodoo priest where he first learned all this Damballa business and goes, yo, I'm in pain, I'm hurting, I'm bleeding, I didn't think I was...
Yeah, I'm literally in the body of a doll.
Yes.
Why am I hurting and bleeding from getting shot? I'm a doll.
The voodoo priest says you are turning human, and we had the first hint of that with the teeth mark in Mum's arm from Chucky, because those were human teeth. That's a human bite.
Because there's absolutely no way an actual doll... and doll's teeth would be able to make a bite like that. There's no way.
Absolutely. And then that's the first person transference rule.
Yes.
You've got to basically go into the body of the first person you told that you used to be human.
Yeah.
Which is Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, like...
The chase is on.
Yeah. He's like, so basically Chucky would then transfer his soul into the body of Andy. And he's like, oh, it was a 6-year-old kid. I'm going to be 6 years old again.
Yeah, and he's happy about that. And I think he goes, see you later, Doc.
Yeah.
I've got... Wait. I've got a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
that's intentional. There's no way that wasn't intentional.
That line hasn't aged well.
No, it had to have been intentional.
Yeah.
There's no way it wasn't.
Yeah, there's some.
I've got a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Do you remember the line in Child's Play 3? I forget because he does the same thing with the black kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck's gonna be a bro.
Yeah.
That's like shit. Jackie's hilarious.
I love
that's
him.
why, that's he is the funniest out of
so
all of them.
good.
He is the funniest out of all of them. And that's saying something. Freddy's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But it's nothing on Chuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing on Chuck.
Exactly.
So. Oh, I have my best kill down here. Sorry, I take that back. I did write it down. It's the electroshock.
Oh,
doctor.
Yes. Yeah, the doctor who's...
The psychologist.
Yeah, the guy who is there with Andy and is going to sedate him. So Chucky comes along because he needs Andy. And has a little band, for like it made me think of...
Shocker?
Yeah.
It was great in Shocker.
Yeah.
Hasn't aged well, though.
Oh, no. Also, when I was watching that one, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this movie before, but I haven't. It must just be that the premise is something that happens a lot in movies that I've seen.
No. It's like a bad 80s metal movie.
Yeah.
That movie, Wes Craven, rest in peace, love you. Didn't hit the mark all the time.
Yeah,
Didn't hit the mark all the time. That was one of them.
Yeah.
But back to this one. This film, you really feel, this scene that builds up to this death. Chucky, Andy is in a type of cell, and he sees Chucky coming up the steps from outside the building. There's the exterior of the building you can see, which was done really well. Again, very kind of Hitchcock in that way. And he's screaming to the psychologist to save him. So what's he going to do? Give him electroshock therapy.
Fucking
so I'm glad he got this.
Yeah, exactly. This 6-year-old boy, like, it doesn't matter if he is, suffering from some kind of psychotic break or whatever it is.
He's fucking 6.
He's 6 years old, and he is in intense. Honestly, like, you shouldn't be doing this to anyone, regardless of their age. In that this person is
Certainly
in such intense distress, and what it is you instantly go to do is, right, well, I'll solve that. You may as well fucking lobotomize him at that point, honestly.
I'm not going to argue anything about this. No, I know I have friends who get it now, because of the...
It's a lot different now.
But I'm not going to argue against being anti it, because it's a fucking lot.
Yeah.
This is the 80s.
The way that it's used now is a lot different to how it was
This was still
back
basically
then.
how it was in the 50s with Angel at My Table, business, No, fuck that. But the death of this, because Andy is going, you see his face right on the camera, stop. And then Chucky doesn't look at, he's not looking at the doctor, he's looking at Andy and they're just laughing. That's what was it? It's really fucking dark, actually. One of the best lines, ugly doll, in the elevator.
Fuck you! And it's one of those old elevators with all, it's just open and just all the cage and all that kind of stuff around it. So Chucky's there like in the back of it, but you don't see him initially because there's this like older couple there, and they kind of like look around and see him like, oh, ugly doll. And then as they get off and the elevator starts to move up, and you just hear him go, fuck you.
Absolutely. Okay, so basically then
they've gone back to their home.
Yes.
Gone back to the apartment.
So is Chucky. Chucky gets back to the home, and it's the final, basically showdown, chase scene. Mum is there, the detective shows up, And it's very much like they always come back, and this is one of the scenes, basically the final action, sequences. They're defying that they always come back as he gets shot and limbs fly off.
The cop and the mother, they ended up getting a lead because they went to Charles Lee Ray's house, and from there they saw like that portrait of the voodoo guy. So they have gone to his house, and before leaving, Chucky had like used a voodoo doll on the guy. It's like, a taste of your own medicine, and so the guy is on the verge of dying when the mother and the cop come to him, and so from that they're like, how are we supposed to kill this doll? And so that's how they find out how they're supposed to kill him. And he's, you have to get him in the heart, destroy the heart, whatever it is, exactly. But that's how they know how they're supposed to defeat Chucky.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Sorry, I missed that during the movie, because I didn't catch that last heart part, because she gets shot in the heart at the end to finally defeat. Yes,
that's how they know,
Okay, paying attention, sorry, my apologies, yes. Good. It goes back to the fire. They're going to throw him in the fire first before they shoot him in the heart. There's one line I didn't like in it. This is the end. Because Chucky turns back into the good guy.
I'm your friend to the end. And then this is the end, friend.
It's just such a movie line, you know what I mean? And,
but also it's
Andy's only 6 as well to actually be able to pull that off convincingly for a 6-year-old stuff. It's just a small little gripe. But it's just too movie
But Chucky gets fucked up. By the end of it, he is just like a blackened corpse.
And the way when he's walking,
it feels very much like an animatronic there.
But he's black and he's dripping from all the, the electronics are dripping off him there. And you see human fucking teeth in his skull, which I was really fucking impressed with.
His over the course of the movie, once his true nature gets revealed, they actually change the appearance of the doll gradually to make him look older and more human-like. So basically how he looked when he first has that moment where that reveal happens versus how he looks later on in the movie is a lot different even then. It's to reflect him becoming more human.
That is really cool.
As in even like the hairline starts receding and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, like it's limited compared to what they should do based on the technology at the time, but what they do with that is really fucking clever. And we will go into it in the future, children. Absolutely. Burn shot.
He's decapitated. He got his head one place, his body somewhere else.
And they're shot through the heart.
The other cop comes up.
Hold on, before we get to there, because this is one of my favorite moments. I think it's one of the most horrifying, terrifying moments. Is the last words of Chucky when it's on the side and you see the teeth and it's all burnt and it's the "Hi, I'm Chucky, wanna play?" and then you see the teeth come through in the bit, and that was just like, that's fucking dark, But said
so the main cop, he has a partner, and so that guy comes in and they're like, turns out all that stuff about the doll was true. Its body parts are just scattered around the place, but like whatever you do, don't touch any of it, leave it alone. And of course, what does the guy do? He picks up the head and just is like, this thing, what are you talking about? He sets it up, sets the head up next to him, he's there poking at it. He's like, look, this is a doll. What are you talking about? This can't kill anything. And he's standing next to like this like doorway that has a window there. And the body of Chucky comes. It felt very end of Nightmare on Elm Street. It felt very. That was what I thought of. The way that he kind of comes out through the window and grabs at him, and then Then here's another tussle that's happening, and that's when they finally do shoot him in the heart.
Yes. Okay. And then the cop who's been there from the beginning, the good cop, not the cheesy cop in the 70s mustache. He goes, "Do you believe me now?" And he goes, I do, but who's going to believe me?
They're all like, what?
Yeah,
That's what we've been living.
Yeah, but I thought it was really nice because okay, everyone's still fucked.
Yeah,
They're still
exactly.
not out of the shit. You know what I mean? And considering what they've just been through. Yeah. And that's the movie. And that's the movie. And what do you rate it out of 5?
I was really struggling to figure out how I was going to rate it.
Okay.
Because I really, really liked it, but I didn't like it as much as later installments in the franchise.
Okay, fair.
Just personal preference in terms of what tone I prefer.
Absolutely.
So, because some of the later ones in the franchise I would really easily rate 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Or even higher, depending on how I was feeling that day. So for this one, I would rate it a very high 3.5. So like a 3.75.
Very, very satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. On the rewatch, because I put up 4 new favorite films on Letterboxd now. Yes. And they are Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. That is Audition. When Evil Lurks and Child's Play. It made the top 4 after rewatching this movie, and I thought about it. And I do like old school horror. I love the use of suspense. I love reveals happening 45 minutes in, and then 2 or 3 kills that happen later in the movie. I do love all that, and I think this movie does it really well. Chucky is my absolute favorite. So there is that, and I think this is where it began. I love the whole thing, but in terms of viewing it for quality cinema, I got to give it a 4. I definitely have to say this movie is delicious. Absolutely. So both very much like, both definitely horror fans. Do we recommend it to the children?
Absolutely.
Children, the popcorn, yes, but what about children?
Children.
This is gateway horror tier.
I would say it would depend on how they feel about dolls already.
Okay.
If they're already a little bit, because like that isn't an uncommon fear and phobia, even amongst adults.
No. You go into the room and there's like 5,000 Victorians and spooky dolls, and
if you're already a little bit freaked out by dolls, then who knows? But like if you're fine with it, and even like a child, then I think partially because the main character is a 6-year-old boy.
Okay.
Admittedly,
who survives? Who does survive?
The potential for that danger against him, and everything, the emotional distress that he goes through, for a very small child would probably be quite distressing because they're very much projecting themselves onto him. But outside of that,
if they have the proclivity, I think they can.
If you got a spooky kid, then hell yeah, they'd love it.
Absolutely. Maybe waiting till 11 or 12 is
there is some language thanks to Charles. And then that attempted rape scene.
That sort of thing. So let's just say 11, 12 as a public service, and to basically not get cancelled. So this gateway tier stuff is from 11, double digits onwards if the kid shows a proclivity, and this one absolutely. This one.
It's very much if it's a case of like a parent or guardian trying to decide what to show their kid, like that kid better than anyone else in terms of what is acceptable.
And if they're a witty, if they're a funny kid who's also a toy, then I definitely recommend Chucky. Because they're going to have nightmares, but they're going to be scared, but they're going to love it, and then they're just going to start coming up with one-liners. They're going to start creating banter and improv from this.
Stuff later in the franchise gets a lot of the humor would probably be a little bit too blue. It gets very sexual.
I made them all rubber.
Why do I? They're gonna fuck. Oh, do you have a rubber? I'm made of rubber. Like, there's a.
So good. Bride is great. That's the rock and roll movie. That's the
And then
the 90s.
scene when like Chucky's needing to like jerk off, and then like Tiffany just shows her tits to him, and it's a doll. And then John Waters is there because they're in Jennifer Tilly's house. John Waters is there outside and sees Chucky's silhouette jerking off. He's taking photos of it.
It's wild when Red Man's come over.
It's
crazy shit. It's great.
Oh my god.
Fucking love it.
Oh
Fucking
my god,
love it.
love that.
Yeah, and for those who are watching the news, for those who are watching the new season and are about to see the final episode, yes, just write to us. Yes, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Tell us what you think of the TV show, how it concluded. Be careful of spoilers, that sort of thing. But all that aside, you know how to follow us by now. I'm not going to do all that. What I want you to know, we're going deeper down the horror iceberg. Yeah, have a look at the pin posts on Facebook and on Instagram. Yes. Just Google us, you'll find us. Have a look at the pin posts. If you recognise any of the movies, if you have any strong feelings and thoughts, let us know. If you are keen and excited for us to watch them. If you have any suggestions, let us know. And also, if any of these films are straight up fucking snuff, also give us a heads up because we don't want to be covering that. Yeah? Yeah. But if you...
I don't want to be put on some kind of watch list.
No. All that sort of thing, yeah? Because we're going to make sure, but if you can make sure beforehand, let us know. And also, big time, if you have any suggestions for fucked up films you'd like us to see, because we're going to be the ones covering it, let's face facts, yeah? Love you other guys on the pod as well, of course, but we're the ones who don't
we're the fuck.
We're the sick fucks. Let us know. Dorian, any last words?
No.
This has been
Hail Dambala.
Hail Dambala, don't fuck with the Chuck. Good.
Yeah.